We start today with news on the woman responsible for the death of Emmett Till. She is reportedly in hospice care in Kentucky battling cancer. The Daily Mail says Carolyn Bryant Dunham is legally blind, needs oxygen, and is near death. Dunham was 21 years old when she accused 14-year-old Till of whistling at her while he was visiting family in Mississippi for the summer. Now, Dunham's then husband, Roy Bryant, and his brother kidnapped Till. They dumped him and his body in the Tallahatchie River. Till's relatives and activists, they have been searching for Dunham since the discovery of an arrest warrant that was never acted upon. Now, last month, the group went to an assisted living facility in North Carolina looking for Dunham. So it seems as if you really want to find her, you can find her, because reporters have found her. We know that his family, Emmett's family, they dug up the arrest warrant. So she's 88 years old. She's managed to go unseen for almost 2 decades. No one has seen her publicly since 2004. So how she's been able to pull that off, that would be interesting to find out. So today she's living in a small apartment community in Kentucky with her son, Thomas Bryant, who's 71 years old. And as I said in the story, she's suffering from cancer. She's legally blind. She's living out her life in a hospice care. There's a nurse coming to her home a couple of times a week to take care of her. And so, you know, I still think at this point, we know where she is. We can still arrest her. I don't understand why we haven't. Because she's old or sick or whatever the case may be, she still played a huge part in the role in the murder and the death of Emmett Till.
I think that at hospice care, at this situation, at this point in her life, arresting her just, because I am outraged by what happened to Emmett Till. I'm from Chicago, so this is a story that we've talked about for my entire life pretty much. So I'm not taking it lightly, but I also just feel like at this stage, if indeed true, at this stage in her life, arresting her is just like at 88, she has cancer, she's in hospice fighting for her life, just seems a little insensitive. I think that the facts remain the facts, that what she said and what she did to cause Emmett Till's death are the facts, but also I feel like it's just insensitive to wish, you know, more harm on an individual. It just for something about that just doesn't seem right to me.
I totally disagree. Here's a lady at the age of 21 years old. She made those accusations. She accused a 14-year-old of what he really didn't do. His life was stolen from him. He was beaten to death. People saw in the open casket, they saw how devastating this was. Now, she gets to live on 67 more years. Whether it's a weight on her shoulder or not, but she had freedom. She gave life. She had a family. She had so much. I don't even want to bring up the Bill Cosby because that's a whole different subject, but he's an older man, but still in all, like, if he did something wrong, if there's charges brought up, we're going to go to trial. We're going to do what we have to do. I want to try and have sympathy, but no one has sympathy for Emmett Till when that happened to him on that day.
I don't have any sympathy, and because she's 88 years old, I mean, Cosby may be a different case, but they just arrested a man who was 101 years old for his role in the Holocaust. So if we can arrest a man who's 101 years old for his role in the Holocaust, we can arrest this woman who's 88 years old. She set off, what she did changed the trajectory of history. We can never go back. It set off the civil rights movement and a whole bunch of different things. And so I personally don't have any sympathy for her at this stage in her life or any stage in her life.
You know, I definitely agree with you that what she did changed the trajectory of history forever. We will never be able to there will never be a different story. What she did definitely is etched in history, in our history books. But I don't think that it's about having sympathy, because I don't have sympathy for her. I don't have any sympathy for her as a person. But I just feel like, Romeo, like you said, 67 years went by. There should be also some accountability for why she was able to live unharmed and under a rock for 67 more years. That I care more about. How was she able to live for this long and no one find her? Who was responsible for keeping her, you know, for those times? But like now it's kind of like at 88, now all of a sudden we want to arrest her. It just seems like.
Well, the Daily Mail, they knocked on the door. They asked, you know, did she want to say anything? They asked her and the son, do you want to say anything? She stood behind the son. She didn't say anything, and the son shook his head no. They didn't have a comment. I mean, at this point, at least apology, something, anything. You know, I want the world to know that, you know, my role in this, I am true, whatever. I don't care. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she said nothing. And so, you know, it just seems even 67 years later that there is no accountability.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is I think that for soulmates, you have people, I like to read a lot of comments online. I feel like if we go into this, well, you know what, I'm happy that she's dying now. That's what I don't want people to go into this, like,
and
evil.
We're not saying that.
We're not saying
we're not,
that.
but I'm saying that, like, when we praise the fact that, like, you know, whatever, like, I feel like there are people that go into this nasty downward spiral. I think we should focus on the facts, but I just don't want it to be like, oh, we have to give her sympathy. It's not about sympathy, but I feel like there are evil people in the world, and I don't want people to confuse, because I read comments confused that, like, oh, well, we're going to take it light on, we don't want to take it light on her means that we're happy that she has cancer and that she's in hospice care right now based on what she did to Emmett Till.
If I'm in that part of the family, of Emmett Till's family, I want justice until I can't possibly get it.
What is the justice? What is justice 67
I
years
want her
later?
brought in. I want her
arrested.
To,
I want her to face charges. I mean, listen.
What charges if she's dying very much so?
Murder. She can still face those charges. And let me just say this because we've got to move on. But at the end of the day, we do stories every day here of black men, black women who are in jail, wrongly convicted, that spend their entire lives in jail for something minute or something they didn't even do. I mean, there's a man in Louisiana who stole something from a gas station who got 55 years. You know what I'm saying? And he's 88 years old, and they won't let him out of jail. When we look at the justice system, we know that it's not fair. We're looking at this lady, we're feeling sorry for her. And if you say it's not sympathy, I still feel like it's a little sympathy. We're feeling sorry for her. We're looking at her. She's dying. She's on her deathbed, whatever it may be. And so now we don't want to prosecute her. I still think she did the crime, and she should be prosecuted regardless. End of story.
All right.